under the lights of Friday night. This is Suffolk County High School football on News 12 Varsity. And this is the Hospital for Special Surgery Game of the Week. Welcome to Bohemia, New York, as Connetquot hosts North Babylon. Hello everyone, welcome. I'm David Resnick. As we've hit mid-October, we can certainly begin to set our sights on the playoffs. And tonight's regular season matchup certainly has postseason implications. For North Babylon, they're on a 4-game winning streak. They are in the top 4 currently, and they would be in line to host a playoff game if the season were to end today. Meanwhile, for Connetquot, they have dropped their last 2 games. They are still in playoff position at number 7, but a win tonight would go a long way to their playoff fortune. Let's introduce you to a pair of players who should factor into today's outcome. For North Babylon, they are old school football, a ground and pound style, and they will rely on Dylan Diaz to lead the way. There are a number of weapons for the Bulldogs, but look for Diaz to be the featured back for the visitors. As for Connetquot, they have a do-it-all senior in Cole Benucci, somebody that plays offense, defense, and special teams, somebody who will play football in college and recently received an offer to Stony Brook. It's always a special night when you play under the lights, but here's Amber Coons with more as to why tonight has special meaning for the Thunderbirds.
It's homecoming here at Connetquot High School football, and they're starting a new tradition this year. They're going to be playing on a Friday instead of a Saturday. They usually play on Saturday. It's the first time they're doing it this way. One tradition that they're keeping is having fireworks after the game. Now, this is the biggest game of the season because it's all about the community. From Bohemia to Ronkonkoma, they all come down, whether they know a player or know somebody at the school or not, they're down to support their team. We're hoping for a very good game tonight. David, back to you.
An exciting atmosphere expected tonight in Suffolk County. It's Connetquot and North Babylon, a Division II showdown coming up next on the HSS Game of the Week here on News 12 Varsity. And we welcome you back to Connetquot High School, ready for kickoff here as North Babylon is on the road against the Thunderbirds. And Cole Benucci picks it up on the run. Flag is thrown as he gets tackled shy of the 45-yard line. We mentioned that Cole Benucci will factor in all 3 phases and then some in this game. As we wait for the announcement of the call, it is a penalty against Connetquot, so instead of starting at the 44-yard line, the drive will begin back inside of the 25. So opening drive here for the Thunderbirds. A team coming off of a pair of losses, losing back-to-back road games, and they return home where they are a perfect 2-0, where they've won their only 2 games of the season. Drew Gutierrez is the starting quarterback, and he'll begin 1st and 10 out of the shotgun, looking to throw and lead his receiver, Tyler Cortez,
is incomplete.
Down the field and incomplete. Tyler Cortez is the feature back, but also capable of running routes as Thunderbirds went 5 wide there. And Gutierrez, who is bound for Stony Brook, making that announcement in early July, threw incomplete as Cortez now motions to the backfield on 2nd and 10. Throw to the far side of the field. It is complete. A short gain as Cortez was out of the backfield. And that brings up a 3rd and 10 after that completion went for no gain. So the Thunderbirds preseason number 3, they enter tonight in this week 6 matchup in the 7 spot with a couple of teams on its heels. Rolling out and a completion. There is the main target, Cole Benici. He's out to the 40-yard line and a first down for the T-Birds. So Gautieri to the air 3 straight times, and Benici his favorite target at that. Now 24 catches. Play fake, it's thrown over the middle and nearly a one-handed grab. It was off the hand of Benici, 6'4", 215. First time in the 17 years under Mike Hansen, their head coach, where he had a 2-way starter start for 3 years. So since his sophomore year, he's been a 2-way guy as both a wide receiver, tight end, and safety as well. So after the incompletion, 2nd and 10. This one complete. There's Benici, another first down into North Babylon territory on this opening drive. Tackled there by George Savaris, the senior there for North Babylon, as the Thunderbirds holding on to the ball here since the opening kickoff, starting back at its own 25-yard line. And they moved the ball exclusively through the air on this drive. Mike Hansen actually said that he would want his team to go back to a more balanced attack and run the ball better. But so far it's been exclusively through the air, and that's a wide open target right up the middle of the field, and a touchdown for Connetquot. James Mastro, great speed through the middle of the field, and it's a 40-yard pitch and catch for the T-Birds touchdown. Well, Gautieri has been finding receivers typically in traffic, but Mastro that time wide open and untouched right through the middle. Poor handle of the snap and a PAT attempt is no good. And so it's a 6-0 start. A 75-yard drive took about a minute and a half. Andrew Gautieri, a really good start after an incompletion on 1st and 10, finding Cordez and Benici, and then Mastro for the touchdown. Connetquot coming in at 2-3, North Babylon at 4-1. Bulldogs offense 30 points per game. They've been even better since they were shut out in week 1, averaging 38 since. Meanwhile, for Connetquot, a team that's giving up more than it scores, and that's a recipe for an under 500 record. But as mentioned, Connetquot perfect here at home, as they have homecoming this week against North Babylon and then Center Reach next week here at home. That ball was handled on a knee by Dylan Diaz, and so that is marked down as the North Babylon offense gets his first attempt here. And the drive will start at the 19. mentioned at the top, North Babylon, ground and pound. Going to play double tight end. They're going to load the backfield. And they are going to run the football. Look at how they crowd the line offensively. And on first down, they go counter to Dylan Diaz. Already 4 games this season, better than 100 yards on the ground. Had a $182 a week ago in a victory at Newfield. Loss of 1 on the play. Ross Tallarico is the 3-year starter for Connetquot. Terry Manning, their 29-year head coach, saying Tallarico is like having another coach on the field as it's 2nd and 11. And Connetquot doing a good job of setting the edge. Makai Tolliver with the carry, and he got stacked up after a gain of just a few across the 20-yard line. So Connetquot scores on its opening drive. North Babylon, with its opening possession, faces a 3rd and 5. The pitch to Diaz. Squeezes through a hole, and he might be a yard short as he's out to the 28-yard line. Line to gain was the 29, and in fact the spot is closer to the 27, bringing up a 4th down. So we've seen the different ways that Dylan Diaz can be employed, taking the quick pitch and running off right tackle. Tallarico is trotting back to the huddle. On 4th and 1, the offense is still on the field, deep in its own territory, trailing by a touchdown here in the first. Tallarico takes the snap. Here's Diaz trying to fight his way through across the 30, and with the look of the linemen coming in, it appears that North Babylon picked up the yardage. So it is a first down across the 30 as North Babylon has a fresh set of downs. Diaz in motion, another pitch to him. Stopped short of the 35.
Number 6, Dylan Diaz.
Dylan Diaz, 6 touchdowns on the season, half of them last week in that victory on the road against Newfield. In researching this game, came across an article in the New York Times from 2002. It was the sophomore campaign of Jason Gwaltney, who would go on to win the Hanson Award twice as Suffolk County's best player. And Terry Manning said, "You better come to North Babylon with one thing in mind. You got to stop our run." And 17 years later, nothing has changed as they keep it on the ground. As the handoff is to Makai Tolliver, secondary back to Diaz, who also had better than 100 yards on the ground a week ago. As a team, North Babylon racked up nearly 400 yards on the ground in a convincing effort. Their 4th straight victory of the season after opening up week 1 with a loss on the road to Lindenhurst, the defending Division II champs. 3rd and 4. Diaz, double handoff, ball is loose. On the counter, crisscross, the fumble is recovered by Connetquot. James Mastro loves it, comes off the field with a ton of energy. Into the stomach of Tolliver, and he just never quite got it. pile of bodies underneath. Sal Prestigiacomo was somebody at the bottom of the pile, and he does come up with the football as Connetquot takes over 1st and 10, leading by a touchdown off the takeaway, beginning this drive in positive territory at the 37. Gautieri drops back, throws, complete, over the top of the defense for the touchdown to Cole Benici. Sudden change, and the T-Birds go deep for the touchdown. Plenty of time for the 2-year starter to his mate that he's been playing football with since they were 7 years old. And now Gautieri will hold for Benici. This time a clean exchange. The operation is good, and so too is the PAT for a 13-0 Connetquot start. One play, 7 seconds, and Connetquot has a 2-touchdown lead. Turnovers, really for any team, plays such a big piece of any type of puzzle to try to figure out why you win and why you lose. When Connetquot is a positive turnover margin or even, they're 2-0. When they've turned it over more than their opponent, they're 0-3. So taking that turnover by North Babylon and turning it into points. As Diaz is dancing around.
Number 6, Dylan Diaz with the kickoff return.
Nice recovery as he brings it out to the 17-yard line. About midway through the opening quarter, and Connetquot is 2 for 2. North Babylon taking over for the second time after turning it over on its first drive. This early surge continues a trend for Connetquot, as they've outscored their opponents in the first throughout the season. On the toss to Makai Tolliver, dancing his way across the 20-yard line for a good gain on first down for North Babylon to stay ahead of the chains. So we mentioned the week 1 loss for North Babylon, 4 victories since. Asking Terry Manning about that, he said, "We've become more whole as the season has progressed. Getting players back who initially were on a play count limit, who are now at full go, other players that are being reintegrated into the lineup, and making this North Babylon team more whole." 2nd and 5. Tallarico on the option, gets dragged down from behind. Good pursuit there by the defensive line of Connetquot.
Ball's run by number 14, Russ Tallarico.
Prestigiacomo, who came up with the fumble recovery, credited with the tackle there.
Number 56, Sal Prestigiacomo with the tackle.
An injury to Jack McCarthy, tight end and inside linebacker, puts Billy Curtin as a starter on the inside as that Connetquot defense is facing a 3rd and 4. Run to the right side, and the Thunderbirds were ready that time. Quarterback Tallarico kept it. And after going for it on 4th down on the first drive, the punting unit comes out this time for the Bulldogs, facing a 4th down and about 3. That's an angled kick that takes a North Babylon bounce. It is angled out of bounds, and good starting field position for the Thunderbirds. Drew Gartieri is out for drive number 3 with Mastro in motion, taking the handoff on 1st and 10, finds a seam and explodes through it. As mentioned earlier, speedy.
That's a Connetquot.
Bit of a deep threat, but somebody obviously that can run the ball and be a threat in that dimension as well. Lost his helmet on the play, so by rule has to come out, and Brett Harvey will sprint on. Quick hitch to the outside, a completion to Cordes.
Pass is complete by Drew Gutierrez to number 7, Tyler Cordes.
So Drew Gutierrez last year, better than 2,000 total yards and 22 touchdowns. Limited as a runner because of a sprained knee, but returning for his 2nd starting campaign as a senior, fully healthy, and much more of a dual threat leading this offense. 2nd and 3. 5 wide for the Thunderbirds. And here's the running ability and a 1st down for Gartieri. He's tripped up by the opposing quarterback, Ross Tallarico. And another 1st down for the Thunderbirds, looking to add to this 2-touchdown lead. And a big hole there for Gartieri. Tyler Ramaka, the left guard, providing the convoy for Gartieri. And a timeout taken here by North Babylon, trailing by a couple of touchdowns already, and trying not to fall behind by 3 scores in this first quarter, as Connetquot offensively is rolling. Mike Hansen now in his 17th season. First season was back in 2003, a graduate of Patchogue Medford back in 1992, works as the Dean of Students at Connetquot High School. His lone county championship coming back in 2008. Also went all the way to win a Long Island title that year as well. Meanwhile, on the other side, Terry Manning. Just 29 years as the head man, leading his alma mater. Graduated back in 1975 with 9 county titles and 6 Long Island championships to his resume as he nears 3 decades leading the Bulldogs, and a successful tenure at that, his last title coming a couple years ago in 2017. Tyler Cordes,
number 7, Tyler Cordes with the run.
First design run for him. We've seen the jet sweep for Mastro or the quarterback draw for Gautieri. Trying to get some balance there with a couple of thrown touchdowns by Gautieri already, giving him 9 on the season, 1 each to Mastro and Benici. Pickup of 3 on first down. It's now 2nd and 7 as the Thunderbirds are in the red zone. Cordes in motion and a penalty marker. False start against the Thunderbirds. There have been few miscues by this
Ladies and gentlemen, there
offense.
are homecoming shirts for sale, as along with some of our other organizations
Hard to
that
think
are here.
of another
The Thunder Shack
instance
is
in
open.
which
Please support everyone. Thank you.
Connetquot did not have a positive play outside of a few incompletions on that opening drive. But a 75-yard drive capped off by Mastro, and then a one-play bomb over the top to Benici for 37 yards. The 2 touchdowns here in the first quarter for the Thunderbirds, looking for more. To the air, Gautieri, the end zone, and an outstretched attempt by Benici will result in a flag in the end zone. Mike Yearwood, the senior cornerback, in on coverage as we take another look. One-on-one, great identification, and plenty of contact before the ball landed in the end zone. Half the distance to the goal on that. Result of the play is still a 2nd down. Referee giving the ready to play signal, and the Thunderbirds are already lined up. Cordes, a first down as he turns the corner, running right into the arms of Sean Perez, making the stop. Connetquot has already played the top 2 teams preseason, Lindenhurst and West Islip, who are also the teams at the top of the standings entering week 6. The potential for a big-time bounce-back performance for the Thunderbirds as they lead by 13 with a minute to go in the first. Gautieri rolls out, throws in the flat, and a wide-open receiver waltzes into the end zone. John Melville is in for Connetquot, and a 19-0 start.
Passes to number 2, John Melville.
3 touchdowns thrown to 3 different receivers. Melville joins Mastro and Benici, who have all found the end zone today. What a start on homecoming. Out of the hold of Gautieri. Benici bangs this one through.
First report by Cole Benici is good. Connetquot 20, North Babylon 0.
3 straight touchdowns for Connetquot. They have been nearly flawless to this point as they work in a new tradition here, as Amber told us pregame. Typically homecoming played on a Saturday, preceded by a Friday night pep rally. Well, they had the prep rally earlier today, playing the game on Friday night, with the fireworks to come after the game. But we've already seen explosive plays by the Thunderbirds in this first quarter, as Connetquot jumps out to a 20-0 lead against a Bulldogs team entering tonight's contest winners of 4 straight. Ball trails to the near side. Amir Slaughter back pedals and runs it across the 15.
That was number 12, Isaiah Roscoe, with the tackle.
Credit Isaiah Roscoe with the special teams tackle. And a drive for North Babylon with 50 seconds to go in the first quarter. That starts at the 17-yard line. So average starting field position for North Babylon so far, its own 18-yard line. They've picked up just a couple of first downs as Ross Tallarico tries to get this offense back in gear. Play fake and a rollout. Tallarico takes a shot down the field and overshoots his intended target, George Severus.
By number 14, Ross Tallarico.
What makes the Bulldogs' passing attack so effective, according to Mike Hansen, is that they'll lull you to sleep in terms of running the ball play after play after play. And then they'll take a shot down the field. In fact, Tallarico's numbers in the 4 victories, his passing has been nearly perfect. Just an incompletion or 2. Second and 10. With Diaz in the backfield. Tallarico out of the gun. He'll run it up the middle. Across the 20-yard line, ripped down there by Kevin Moore. Thunderbird player is down with 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. He doesn't want to stay there for long. That's Eric Yates, who got the start today, with Tyler Ramaka playing both offense and defense. It was Yates who was slid into the defensive line. He'll be replaced by Sean Schaller for at least a snap as we wind down the first quarter. So already the Bulldogs changing up their game plan, trailing by 3 scores in the first quarter. Tallarico right into the line. Forward progress stopped. Benici making sure of it. And a timeout, I believe. Or was that the end of the quarter? We'll see where the ball is spotted if the officials begin their march down to the opposite part of the field. It does appear a timeout was called by North Babylon with just seconds left on the first quarter clock. Referee trying to sort out the situation and communicate with the Connetquot side. So a 4th down and 3. Decision time here for Terry Manning. Ross Tallarico is both the quarterback and punter, so he's in this huddle. But an exchange of personnel for the Bulldogs. Connetquot anticipating a punt. Tallarico will rugby style it. It was touched by the Thunderbirds, and we'll see who comes up with the loose ball. Emerging with it is James DeLucia. As the referees will think it over. And it appears award the ball to Connetquot, who avoided disaster. And now we have completed the first quarter of play.
At the end of the first, Connetquot 20, North Babylon 0.
And a productive one for the Thunderbirds on homecoming. Off to a sizzling start. It's a 20-0 lead for Connetquot here at home, facing North Babylon on the HSS Game of the Week. The #1 hospital for orthopedics with locations in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. The best is now nearby. And on the first play of the second quarter, right up the middle, the quarterback, Drew Gutierrez, is untouched for another Connetquot touchdown. It would be hard to script a better start. Great read by the senior quarterback. It's a 35-yard sprint to the end zone, and this is turning into a rout. Cole Benici on for the PAT. The operation has gotten better since a first quarter miscue, and now it's 27-0. Drew Gutierrez, his 4th touchdown, 3 through the air, and that latest sprint to the end zone, his 4th. 4 possessions for the T-Birds, 4 touchdowns. And a special night for Connetquot in general, but also for Drew Gutierrez, who typically wears number 5, but wearing 14 this evening. It's the number worn by Stan Harnett, class of 2008, who tragically died in a car crash back in July of the same year. Playing in his honor, Mike Hansen believes, really galvanized that 2008 team and propelled them to county and Long Island championships. That number 14 isn't touched, isn't worn, except for homecoming in the last handful of years. And Gutierrez has the honor tonight of wearing it, and he is wearing it well. It's a touchback and a start at the 20 for North Babylon. Looking for any type of momentum that it can cull together. Trailing here by 4 scores. In fact, Drew's older brother, James, a member of the football staff currently, was one of Stan's best friends and a member of that class of '08. So Drew has memories of Stan from his childhood. Tallarico pitches it. Makai Tolliver near the 30 for a pickup of 9.
Tackled by number 80, Cole Benici.
So 4 possessions for North Babylon, 2 punts and a turnover to this point. Ahead of the sticks after the 9-yard pickup on first down, as Tolliver found running room, approaching 400 yards on the season rushing. The pitch to Diaz, changes direction and picks up the first down. Clobbered at the 25-yard line. So a fresh set of downs for the Bulldogs. at the 35-yard line. A counter to Tolliver. Slips out of a tackle and into the open field. Wins a foot race to the end zone. Touchdown, North Babylon. 65 yards. Makai Tolliver outracing the defense to pay dirt. So a big play here by Tolliver as he slipped out of a tackle and outran a couple of members of the secondary. And the Bulldogs, something positive for them offensively after struggling in that first quarter. JT Pardone has arrived to the game. A soccer player. Knocks it through, and the PAT makes it 27-7 as the Bulldogs showing some life here in the second quarter. So a first half defined by big plays now on both sides, and something to keep an eye on if you're a fan of Connetquot. Over the course of the first 5 weeks, they've outscored their opponents in the first quarter, only then to be outscored in the second and third. So if you're a fan of the Bulldogs, that's something to hang your hat on, at least for now, thinking that your opponent is susceptible to being outscored in the next couple of quarters as Connetquot tries to guard against any type of complacency that may exist. That, of course, is an assumption and not just giving credit to the individual effort by Makai Tolliver to break a tackle and race for the score. Onside kick attempt, penalty marker down right at the line of scrimmage. And that is a false start against North Babylon. We do want to welcome you back to Bohemia, New York on this Friday night under the lights. It's homecoming for the Thunderbirds. And you're watching the HSS Game of the Week here on News 12 Varsity. I'm David Resnick. Amber Coons will join us pregame. We'll also speak with our player of the game upon completion. Our entire News 12 Varsity crew ready for this kickoff from North Babylon. More traditional type as it hangs up into the air. Long run forward for Tyler Cordes.
About that. Number 7, Tyler Cordes with the kickoff return.
A start at the 41-yard line for this Connetquot offense. 4 for 4, turning possessions into touchdowns to this point. Guattieri pitches it. Cordes tries to turn the corner, but is outrun by the North Babylon defense. Nice job there by Dylan Diaz to string out the play. No gain. 2nd and 10. This Connetquot team has responded to adversity quite well this year, but now it's how are they going to deal with Prosperity leading by 20 after starting the game with the first 27 points. Melville in motion. And the wide receiver screen to Cole Benici. Set up a third and manageable. Cole Benici, one of 3 different players to have a touchdown reception in that first quarter, along with Mastro and Melville. Just shy of midfield on this third down. Tyler Cordes is dropped behind the line of scrimmage. A terrific play by Jayshawn Hines, the junior lineman, who has added 25 pounds of muscle since last season. Got through the tackle there, or the block, I should say, to make the tackle. Just a junior and listed at 220 pounds. So, decision time. Gautieri is lined up in the slot. Cole Benici will punt it away. That is a kick that bounces and rolls inside of the 10. Beautifully done by Benici, who we mentioned can impact this game in so many ways. So a hold by North Babylon, and coming off of its first touchdown of the game, they get it back at the 9. This offense in the last 4 weeks, as part of the winning streak, has been rolling. 1st and 10, run up the middle. That touchdown should reignite a belief that they can continue with their initial ground and pound plan, and that's Ross Tallarico taking the first down carry up the middle for about 3. (21-0) was the loss in week 1 on the road to Lindenhurst. They only had 4 first downs offensively in that game, as Dylan Diaz bounces it to the outside. He's across the 20. He is ripped down by Benici. Not before, however, Diaz picks up a first down. So bouncing to the outside, typically so good at containment, it requires the strong safety to come racing over to make the stop. Kevin Gayton got caught inside as the outside linebacker tries to set that edge. As a stand-up lineman, here's Tolliver. He has found running room to the left side of the line. He, with the touchdown run on the last drive, is starting to percolate. Curtin with the tackle. Just trying to find any hole he can, just surveying the field. Trey Randall, the junior lineman, out there with Tolliver to help pave the way. Makai Tolliver, such a slippery runner, and the patience in traffic to find the seams. They go right back to him. Similar looking play. Across the 40-yard line. And positive momentum here for the Bulldogs, who have gone to Tolliver quite a bit on the last 2 drives to great success. Kyle Petilio checks in, a senior defensive lineman, senior linebacker. Gautieri checks out. On the counter, here's Diaz. Dragged across midfield and another first down. So this is a different Bulldogs offense in this second quarter, as they are draining clock with a successful drive and another first down for a series that began back at its own 9-yard line. Another tackle for Benici, who leads the team with tackles entering week 6, averaging better than 10 per. On 1st and 10, the flip to Diaz, bounces away from the pile and to the edge on the left. Close to a first down with a penalty marker on the field. Diaz, sensing that there was no way through that big scrum, turned the corner after reversing field. But in that process, North Babylon called for a hold. 1st and 20 on a replay of the down with a loss of 10 yards from the spot of the foul, which was right at midfield. So behind the sticks with just about 5 minutes to go in this first half. Tallarico faking the handoff and running with the flag down, sliding across the 40. As it stands, yardage good enough for a first down, but we'll check the penalty. It's a flag against North Babylon. So a nice deceptive ball fake by Tallarico. But another flag on a positive run called against the Bulldogs. In the first 5 weeks, these teams played 3 common opponents: Lindenhurst, Smithtown West, and Bellport. Both teams lost to Lindenhurst. Both teams beat Smithtown West. But while North Babylon blew out Bellport, Connetquot lost to that squad last week as Bellport earned its first victory of the season. 5-yard penalty against Connetquot for the illegal substitution.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please support all our sponsors here today. We have homecoming shirts, Connetquot Cares, or you name it, we're over there. Please support.
So 1st and a country mile. It was 1st and 10 at midfield. And another flag. Dead ball, encroachment. So 5 yards here in North Babylon's favor. First down and 28. And on another first down, Tolliver gets the pitch. A stiff arm of Mastro. And he gets ragged down across the 40. They've been running him to that left side, trying to get him into space. Credit James Mastro, who would not give up on that play. made primary contact with Tolliver and would not let go until he was completely brought down. Second and 18. Tallarico rolls out, sets his feet and throws. It's intercepted. Mastro racing the other way, still on his feet and into the end zone for a pick six. James Mastro is everywhere tonight for Connetquot as the T-Birds take a 33-7 lead. Tallarico rolling out on second down, had loads of time, and he just cuts right in front of Diaz, does Mastro, for the 56-yard INT return. Amazing stat on the season for the Connetquot defense. They've allowed 7 touchdowns through the air. They just picked up their 6th INT. Benici, PAT attempt is good. So the defense stepping up big for Connetquot. Turnover margin +2 in the T-Birds' favor, and they take a commanding 34-7 first half lead. Mastro with a couple of touchdowns. He opened things up offensively back in the first quarter, just a minute and 32 seconds in, and they're a pick six. North Babylon, what an interesting drive. It started back at its own 9, advanced all the way to midfield with some impressive running, and then a series of penalties made it first and more than 30. And that eventually bled into Tallarico throwing that interception. 34-7 the first half score with 3:16 remaining in the first half. Cole Benici kicks it off. It's a high, strong kick, handled right at the goal line by Diaz, who took a step back across the goal line, and it's a touchback. So Connetquot really breaking through the barriers here in terms of their first half performance. Offense only averaging 22 points per game, while their defense did put 7 on the board. They now have 34 in this first half, or 6 on the board. Mike Hansen, speaking to him before the game, really hoped that this game could be a turning point for the T-Birds, trying to put everything together. First and 10, Diaz with the carry. Presti Giacomo with the tackle. Short gain on first down for the Bulldogs. Thunderbirds have done a nice job of limiting the big play outside of the Tolliver touchdown run of 65 yards. They've been disciplined and focused defensively as this pitch to Makai Tolliver goes to the left side, and he gets pummeled down. Terrific tackle on the edge. Presti Giacomo, who had an early first quarter fumble recovery, plants the ball carrier there.
Number 56, Sal Presti Giacomo with the tackle.
those outside guys set the edge, and then players like the strong safety, Benici, McCarthy when he's healthy, and then Presti Giacomo as inside linebackers really vacuum up a lot of the tackles. 3rd and 7 as this Connetquot home crowd makes some noise. Quarterback keeper Tallarico is across the 25-yard line, and a timeout taken by Connetquot. So Connetquot uses its first timeout with 1:35 remaining, 2 left in this first half as they try to preserve clock. So North Babylon coming in at 4-1 in the 3rd slot. And remember, in Suffolk County, it's more than just your record. It's your power points that gets calculated using your preseason ranking and your record, who you've beaten. Connetquot in the 7th spot entering week 6 with Centereach in the 8th spot. That's the playoff cutoff. Smithtown West and Bellport at 9 and 10. So Connetquot in a good spot, but certainly not out of the woods, needing victories down the stretch here of the season. But again, to point out how important points are, Smithtown West has a better record of Centereach, but the outside looking in of the playoff hunt if the season were to end today. Mike Hansen thought his team would need one more win down the stretch to secure a playoff spot. They're on their way to getting one tonight. On 4th down, Tallarico has to punt. It's a short one that bounces out of bounds at the 40. So a short field here for Connetquot to take an even more commanding position in this first half. They've got 2 timeouts left. Side of the line. He, with the touchdown run on the last drive, is starting to percolate. Curtin with the tackle. Just trying to find any hole he can, just surveying the field. Trey Randall, the junior lineman, out there with Tolliver to help pave the way. Makai Tolliver, such a slippery runner, and the patience in traffic to find the seams. They go right back to him. Similar looking play. Across the 40-yard line. And positive momentum here for the Bulldogs, who have gone to Tolliver quite a bit on the last 2 drives to great success. Kyle Petilio checks in, a senior defensive lineman, senior linebacker. Gautieri checks out. On the counter, here's Diaz. Dragged across midfield and another first down. So this is a different Bulldogs offense in this second quarter, as they are draining clock with a successful drive and another first down for a series that began back at its own 9-yard line. Another tackle for Benici, who leads the team with tackles entering week 6, averaging better than 10 per. On 1st and 10, the flip to Diaz, bounces away from the pile and to the edge on the left. Close to a first down with a penalty marker on the field. Diaz, sensing that there was no way through that big scrum, turned the corner after reversing field. But in that process, North Babylon called for a hold. 1st and 20 on a replay of the down with a loss of 10 yards from the spot of the foul, which was right at midfield. So behind the sticks with just about 5 minutes to go in this first half. Tallarico faking the handoff and running with the flag down, sliding across the 40. As it stands, yardage good enough for a first down, but we'll check the penalty. It's a flag against North Babylon. So a nice deceptive ball fake by Tallarico. But another flag on a positive run called against the Bulldogs. In the first 5 weeks, these teams played 3 common opponents: Lindenhurst, Smithtown West, and Bellport. Both teams lost to Lindenhurst. Both teams beat Smithtown West. But while North Babylon blew out Bellport, Connetquot lost to that squad last week as Bellport earned its first victory of the season. 5-yard penalty against Connetquot for the illegal substitution.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please support all our sponsors here today. We have homecoming shirts, Connetquot carry, or you name it, we're over there. Please support.
So 1st and a country mile. It was 1st and 10 at midfield. And another flag. Dead ball, encroachment. So 5 yards here in North Babylon's favor. First down and 28. And on another first down, Tolliver gets the pitch. A stiff arm of Mastro. And he gets ragged down across the 40. They've been running him to that left side, trying to get him into space. Credit James Mastro, who would not give up on that play. Made primary contact with Tolliver and would not let go until he was completely brought down. Second and 18. Tallarico rolls out, sets his feet and throws. It's intercepted. Mastro racing the other way, still on his feet and into the end zone for a pick 6. James Mastro is everywhere tonight for Connetquot as the T-Birds take a 33-7 lead. Tallarico rolling out on second down, had loads of time, and he just cuts right in front of Diaz, does Mastro, for the 56-yard INT return. Amazing stat on the season for the Connetquot defense. They've allowed 7 touchdowns through the air. They just picked up their 6th INT. Benici, PAT attempt is good.
The extra point is good.
So the defense stepping up big for Connetquot. Turnover margin +2 in the T-Birds' favor, and they take a commanding 34-7 first half lead. Mastro with a couple of touchdowns. He opened things up offensively back in the first quarter, just a minute and 32 seconds in, and they're a pick 6. North Babylon, what an interesting drive. It started back at its own 9, advanced all the way to midfield with some impressive running, and then a series of penalties made it first and more than 30. And that eventually bled into Tallarico throwing that interception. 34-7 the first half score with 3:16 remaining in the first half. Cole Benici kicks it off. It's a high, strong kick, handled right at the goal line by Diaz, who took a step back across the goal line, and it's a touchback. So Connetquot really breaking through the barriers here in terms of their first half performance. Offense only averaging 22 points per game, while their defense did put 7 on the board. They now have 34 in this first half, or 6 on the board. Mike Hansen, speaking to him before the game, really hoped that this game could be a turning point for the T-Birds, trying to put everything together. 1st and 10. Diaz with the carry. Presti Giacomo with the tackle. Short gain on 1st down for the Bulldogs. Thunderbirds have done a nice job of limiting the big play outside of the Tolliver touchdown run of 65 yards. They've been disciplined and focused defensively as this pitch to Makai Tolliver goes to the left side, and he gets pummeled down. Terrific tackle on the edge. Presti Giacomo, who had an early first quarter fumble recovery, plants the ball carrier there.
Number 56, Sal Presti Giacomo with the tackle.
Those outside guys set the edge, and then players like the strong safety, Benici, McCarthy when he's healthy, and then Presti Giacomo as inside linebackers really vacuum up a lot of the tackles. 3rd and 7 as this Connetquot home crowd makes some noise. Quarterback keeper Tallarico is across the 25-yard line, and a timeout taken by Connetquot. So Connetquot uses its first timeout with 1:35 remaining, 2 left in this first half as they try to preserve clock. So North Babylon coming in at 4-1 in the 3rd slot. And remember, in Suffolk County, it's more than just your record. It's your power points that gets calculated using your preseason ranking and your record, who you've beaten. Connetquot in the 7th spot entering week 6, with Centereach in the 8th spot. That's the playoff cutoff. Smithtown West and Bellport at 9 and 10. So Connetquot in a good spot, but certainly not out of the woods, needing victories down the stretch here of the season. But again, to point out how important points are, Smithtown West has a better record of center reach, but the outside looking in of the playoff hunt if the season were to end today. Mike Hansen thought his team would need one more win down the stretch to secure a playoff spot. They're on their way to getting one tonight. On 4th down, Tallarico has to punt. It's a short one that bounces out of bounds at the 40. So a short field here for Connetquot to take an even more commanding position in this first half. They've got 2 timeouts left. This drive starting at the 40, and they've already shown big play ability with their quarterback, Drew Gautieri. As mentioned, a Stony Brook bound quarterback making his decision in early July to stay in Suffolk County, and perhaps he'll be joined by Cole Benici with the Seawolves, as Benici adding to his offers from LIU and VMI. Gautieri just has to gather the football as the snap was low, and they lose nearly 6 yards on first down. Connetquot hurrying back to the line. Cole Benici getting that offer from Stony Brook recently, his coach Mike Hansen was pleased to announce. Gautieri on 2nd down, moves the pocket, throws near side, it is complete. And getting out of bounds is Will Immel. Immel seeing more action today with the injury to Jack McCarthy, the tight end. So Benici playing more of that tight end H-back role, and Immel getting more reps at wide receiver. His first catch of the night and 10th of the season. As the clock stops with 61 seconds to go, Gautieri just looking for the first down and gets much more. Into the open field, tripped up inside the 5, very close to his 2nd rushing touchdown of the night. A huge 3rd down run to move the chains, and Connetquot in terrific positioning. Just a big gaping hole created by this offensive line. Kevin Moore, the center, and company, creating terrific running lanes for the Thunderbirds tonight. First and goal at the 2. No hurry here for the Thunderbirds. Gautieri keeps and gallops across the goal line. Touchdown, Connetquot. Drew Gautieri and this Connetquot offense exploding here in the first half. It's a 40-7 lead for the Thunderbirds, and a fitting way to cap off this drive after Gautieri had that tremendous 3rd down run to set up 1st and goal. Six first half drives, 5 touchdowns and the pick 6. Benici, another good PAT. 24 seconds left. In this first half, an already chance of start the buses. It has been impressive and dominant. Gautieri, we talked about how he's wearing that 14 jersey as he's compiled 5 touchdowns already. 3 passing, 2 rushing, a week after accumulating 400 total yards and 4 touchdowns, but threw 3 interceptions in that tough loss on the road to Bellport. Today, he has not turned it over, and he's been nearly flawless as a dual threat. And you saw not only has he scored, but he's delivered on big plays tonight. Benici into the end zone and a touchback. North Babylon with the ball at the 20 with 24 seconds left. North Babylon will get the ball to start the second half. As they're left with just 24 ticks and 1 timeout. Gautieri wearing that 14 jersey in honor of Stan Harnett. They've kept his locker room untouched, and every year since his tragic death in 2008, Mike Hansen and the Thunderbirds have added one item each year to represent that season's team. North Babylon keeps it on the ground. A senior on each year's team has the key to the locker. They open it only once per year, right around homecoming, to add that additional item. This year it was a black wristband that the 2008 team wore in his honor the season after his passing. And they are doing Stan very proud tonight, as on homecoming, Connetquot heads to the locker room, leading 41-7 over North Babylon in what has been nothing short of dominant. It is halftime here at Connetquot in our Game of the Week, brought to you by HSS, the #1 hospital for orthopedics, with locations in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. The best is now nearby. It is halftime here at Connetquot, and the Thunderbirds, through the first half of play, as close to perfect as you can possibly get. As the scoring started early and often, the game started with some actual fireworks. The game will be followed by fireworks, and in the first quarter on the field, there were fireworks as well, as Drew Gautieri got things started on the opening drive. Just a minute and a half in, James Mastro wide open over the middle of the field. It was a 37-yard untouched touchdown, and this was a player who would factor in big time in the opening quarter. Ensuing drive, and North Babylon coughs it up. A fumble recovery there by Sal Prestigiacomo, and on the very next play, Drew Gautieri goes up top to his favorite target. Cole Benici does a great job beating his defender one-on-one. Extra point good, 13-0. And Gautieri back to the air would find 3 different receivers for 3 first-quarter touchdowns, 20-0 through the first 12 minutes of play. And after dominating with his arm, Drew Gautieri went to the ground, 35 yards, accelerating through the middle of the field. The Thunderbirds would score the first 27 points of the game, and into the second quarter, that's when North Babylon found a spark in Mackay Tolliver, outracing the defense 65 yards to the end zone. James Mastro was beat on that last play, but not here, cutting in front of the receiver and running the other way for a pick six. 55 yards on the return. It would be 41-7 at the break. And that is where we are right now. Third quarter coming up next here on the HSS Game of the Week on News 12 Varsity. And what does the second half have in store as we welcome you back to Connetquot High School as Cole Benici blasts one into the end zone for another touchback. 1st and 10 for North Babylon, trailing 41-7, starting at the 20-yard line. So the lone touchdown for North Babylon in the first half, as we welcome you back to this Friday night homecoming game hosted by the T-Birds, was by Mekhi Tolliver, his 5th rushing touchdown of the season. He ran 65 yards early in the second quarter. At that point, it was 27-7, but Connetquot answered that lone touchdown with 2 more of its own. Ross Tallarico pitches it to Tolliver. He runs to the left. He is dragged down. Benici makes the tackle, and he comes up a bit hobbling. Typically, teams will run away from Benici, who had to sprint across the field to make that tackle. It appears he's trying to gut it out and gave a signal to the sideline that he was just fine staying in the game. North Babylon on a 4-game winning streak. They've scored at least 34 points in each of their victories, held to just a touchdown in that first half. Dylan Diaz twisting down. Might have picked up a couple of yards there. Will bring up 3rd and 6. Just underway here in the second half. Bulldogs were preseason number 7. They entered week 6 in the 3rd spot. They last won a Suffolk title 2 years ago in 2017. Made it to the semis last year in a 5-5 season. Off to a great start this year, but hitting a bit of a road bump in that first half against Connetquot as Tolliver takes a 3rd down carry. Oh no, it was a fake. And Tallarico is dragged down for a big loss as the helmet of Devin Shapiro is dislodged, and he'll have to come off for a play. But he'll be pleased with his effort. Or I beg your pardon, it was to Tolliver and then handed back to Tallarico, the quarterback, who had a knee down before the ball was loose. So that is part of the deception of this offense for North Babylon, this ground and pound attack, misdirection, encounter. They turned the ball over on a double handoff in the first half and nearly suffering a similar fate there. Ross Tallarico will also serve as the punter. The snap bounces into him and he gets off of a high spiraling kick. Handled at the 40-yard line by John Melville, who calls for the fair catch and completes it for Connetquot. So while North Babylon struggled offensively, the opposite for Connetquot. 6 first-half drives, 5 touchdowns. Drew Gartieri, the quarterback, had his hand in all 5. 3 through the air, 1 each to Mastro, Benucci, and Melville, and 2 rushing scores as well on 1st and 10 from the 39. Gartieri has time. Tyler Cordes in stride. Big gain down the sideline, and he's dragged out by Dylan Diaz. You've got to give a lot of credit to this offensive line who has kept Gartieri on his feet. Another clean pocket for the senior to survey the field and find an open receiver running away from the defense. Tyler Cordes does not have a score in that first half, but a big contributor to the offensive effort as Melville gets the handoff on the jet sweep. He is upended after a 5-yard gain by Tallarico. Getting very close to the 5-yard line. That's where the ball will be spotted. It's a pickup of 7 for Melville on the run. 2nd down 3 for Gautieri and Connetquot. Gautieri keeps and gets pounded, but keeps the pile moving, and Gautieri will not be denied as he muscles his way into the end zone. Just that type of night for Connetquot, that even when it seems the Thunderbirds are stopped, there's that second effort. Although there is a flag down. The referee is sorting everything out. And so it's a replay of down. It's 2nd down again from the same spot. So potentially offsetting penalties. The referee came over to explain the situation to Mike Hansen, and we replay. So take the points off the board, and now put them right back on. It's a touchdown for Connetquot. Gautieri finds Benici. 2nd time those longtime teammates have hooked up for a score today. So it's just a moment of time for this Thunderbirds offense to put an additional score on the board after it was wiped out. Such a big target at 6'4", 215. Benici was open in the end zone, and now he's on for the PAT. High snap, handled by Gautieri, and the PAT is good. Absolutely stunning.
Connetquot 48, North Babylon 7.
Absolutely incredible effort tonight by Connetquot. Their quarterback, Drew Gautieri, wearing that 14 jersey on this homecoming night in honor of Stan Harnett. It's only worn on this homecoming evening, in which Connetquot typically plays the game on a Saturday afternoon, but moving for the first time this special event to a Friday night. And what an effort it's been. 6 total touchdowns scored by the offense, and Gautieri has had his hand in all of them. 4 passing, 2 of them to Benici, 2 rushing. And another touchback. (48-7) is our score early in the 3rd quarter. So 1st and 10 for North Babylon. They turned it over twice in that first half rather. Both turnovers leading to points for Connetquot. So a run of 5 yards, and a hard-nosed one at that for Dylan Diaz, who continues to be the workhorse for the Bulldogs. You know, in some ways, entering this game, there were aspects that were a bit difficult to evaluate as to how these teams would match up. I mean, of course, you're top line outlook is the records. North Babylon 4-1, Connetquot 2-3. But when you take a look at their common opponents, it was hard to determine using the sports transitive property as
Tolliver with the run.
Mackay Tolliver stretches out for first down. We mentioned they both lost to Lindenhurst early in the season, but North Babylon was shut out 21-0. And Connetquot lost 20-19 when a 2-point conversion with 1:20 left failed, and they were not able to go ahead. They both beat Smithtown West by 6 points or less, and then North Babylon beat Bellport 35-0. Connetquot last week lost 41-35, turning it over 4 times as Bellport won its first game of the season. So in some ways, there was at least indications to think that it was even coming into tonight, despite the records, or at least expecting a more competitive game than the records would indicate. And yet, after a 20-0 first quarter and a 41-7 lead at the break, Connetquot has really controlled this game from the opening whistle as they scored on its first drive, took the ball away on its first defensive drive, and then scored on the very next play offensively. Mackay Tolliver, another first down picked up by the Bulldogs. He had to earn those yards as he was pushed back right at the sticks. Again, angling to that left side. That's where he is shown to do most of his damage, including that long touchdown run. North Babylon hoping that their season trajectory would continue to rise as they got healthier. But a motivated opponent tonight in Connetquot, who is really trying to put their season together as well. George Savaris, the intended target, as Tallarico, try to push the ball down the field. It falls incomplete and stops the clock with 6:29 to go in the third quarter.
50/50 raffle tickets as well as tickets for the 55-inch screen TV. Homecoming shirts. Connetquot football towel can all be found
After the incompletion, it's 2nd and 10. Diaz earned something out of nothing. That's a 5-yard pickup after he got stacked at the line. An impressive piece of running by the senior. Out to the 49-yard line, bringing up a 3rd down and 5. Bulldogs old school. Tallarico, the quarterback, has to jog all the way over to the sideline with Terry Manning waiting there with the play. He coordinates both the offense and defense now in his 29th season, leading his alma mater. On 3rd and 5, the pitch to Tolliver. Finds a seam and a first down. Dragged down by the jersey by Billy Curtin as Tolliver accelerates to move the sticks. North Babylon during the preseason with a bunch of two-a-days working on their physicality, practicing hard as we see Tolliver run for that first down and taking every bit of Curtin to bring him to the turf. On the last day of practice, it's tradition in North Babylon to head over to the town of Babylon Pool, where Terry Manning manages the lifeguards. He reserves the space as Diaz there with the carry, and then some additional words between the sides in this lopsided game. At this point, it's all about emerging healthy to week 7. And so Coach Manning organizes some pool time and a barbecue at the end of those preseason two-a-days for some team bonding and some fun before the start of the regular season, something that's become tradition with North Babylon, along with winning county titles, 9 of them in the Manning tenure. Diaz on the pitch, hit behind the line, and James Mastro is there to make the open field tackle. What an evening for Mastro, catching that opening touchdown, the pick 6 in the second quarter, and there with the open field tackle. And we've seen how hard it is to bring down Diaz and Tolliver, and Mastro shooting the gap and doing a great job to rip them down. A loss on the play brings up 3rd and 11, obvious 4-down territory given time, score, and field location, so they don't need all 11 here. Inside crisscross, Diaz with the ball, bounces out to the numbers, and he is buried there by Sean Schaller. Supported by Brett Harvey running in from his free safety spot. 3 minutes to go, third quarter. It was 41-7 at the break. Connetquot got the ball early in this third and added one more touchdown. Their 6th offensively today. Drew Gauteri, their quarterback, has thrown for 4 and run for 2 more. On 4th down, play fake, Tallarico sets his feet, takes a shot down the field towards the end zone, and nearly a one-handed interception. Cole Benici had his fingertips on it, and it benefits Connetquot that he did not pick it off, as the Thunderbirds will take over on downs after the 4th down stop. So one of the best drives for North Babylon in quite some time ends in Connetquot territory, but short of the end zone, as it's 1st and 10 for the Thunderbirds, taking over at the 32 in the final couple minutes of the third quarter. And now the Thunderbirds appear to be going to a couple of their second teamers, rotating in those that practice hard throughout the week and might not get the time on Friday nights or Saturday afternoons. And prior to this drive, Connetquot will call timeout to get everybody settled. North Babylon has a moment to regroup as well, entering tonight's game on a 4-game winning streak, which included a shutout of Bellport in week 3, and then back-to-back second-half shutouts against Deer Park and Newfield. So the touchdown they gave up earlier this quarter to Connetquot represents the first second-half points they've allowed since week 2 against Smithtown West. Copeg and West Islip will be the final 2 opponents for North Babylon in the regular season, both of them at home. And West Islip, a Division II finalist from a season ago, preseason number 2, current number 2. That should be a really terrific matchup, not to say that next week against Copeg won't be a good contest, but certainly that week 8 has the opportunity to be a playoff preview, or at least a game featuring a couple of contenders. So on 1st and 10, Connetquot keeps it on the ground. That's a carry for Giovanni Montalvo.
Cross carried by number 32, Giovanni Montalvo.
He's a backup to Cordes. And with Cordes rarely leaving the field, that leaves just a few carries for Montalvo. Matt Mara nearly lost the football. And the backup quarterback sprints for a first down and gets mobbed by his teammates after the big gainer. So they go to the backup quarterback, the junior. He did lose the football, but a fortuitous bounce. Again, just that type of night for the Thunderbirds on homecoming. He turns a near disaster into a terrific pickup as he angles himself out of bounds and away from the defender. So even with the second unit out, even with a dropped football, the Thunderbirds still find a way to make a play. There's a flag down at the 35 in the direction of offensive holding, as the backups are squarely in for the Thunderbirds.
Flag on the play.
And this will push back Connetquot. You know, they've got every level of cheerleader, dancer, and band member here at the game. And now it's a great thing for this community to see those backups, those reserves, perhaps some of those juniors that are just waiting for their opportunity. Those players getting the chance to perform in front of a capacity crowd for Connetquot, as the community has really come out to support their T-Birds tonight. On first and long, it's another good run. Montalvo getting the call once again. Had just 3 carries entering this game in limited action, but is known as a talented, slippery runner. As we approach the final minute of the third quarter. Based off of the action to this point, I think we might be looking at a new homecoming tradition for Connetquot if they're going to play this well if they host it on Friday night. Montalvo dragging tacklers to the 25. Right at the sticks. This is a good looking run. Securing the football with 2 hands as he takes the contact from Butler. And getting the nose of the football down to the 25-yard line. It is good enough for a first down. Under 30 seconds to go in this third quarter. And with the 40-second play clock, the Thunderbirds don't have to snap, but they are lining up as if they will, and for good reason. Matt Mara runs to the left. Clock stops as he is tracked out of bounds. Always a teachable moment as Mike Hansen is there. Head coach in his 17th season was really looking for an effort tonight to help redefine their season, and I think he has it. As Montalvo again called, and the final play of the third quarter sends us to the fourth with Connetquot cruising. It's a 48-7 lead for the Thunderbirds on our Game of the Week, brought to you by HSS, the #1 hospital for orthopedics, with locations in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. The best is now nearby. On to the fourth quarter here on News 12 Varsity. And picking up action here in the fourth quarter as we welcome you back to a clear but brisk night here at Connetquot High School. 48-7 is the lead for the Thunderbirds as this drive continues from the third quarter. Giovanni Montalvo has gotten the share of carries here on this drive, as the Thunderbirds, after making it 48-7 in the third quarter, have put in their reserves. $20-0 at the end of the first quarter, I should say. 41-7 at half. Adding an extra touchdown with the first unit for good measure. Drew Gautier's night is apparently over after 6 touchdowns in his 3 quarters of play. Giovanni Montalvo brought down there on 4th down. And North Babylon makes a stand to take over. Good running on that drive by Montalvo, but after a flag a couple of plays prior, Thunderbirds could make up for it. So Connetquot on its way to evening its record at 3-3. Center Reach and Newfield will round out the slate for the Thunderbirds. Mike Hansen thought it would just take one more win to secure a spot in the top 8 and advance to the playoffs. They're going to get it tonight with a chance to improve their seeding over the next couple of weeks. Their schedule was definitely front-loaded with Lindenhurst, West Islip, and this North Babylon team that entered tonight on a 4-game winning streak. And not to say that Center Reach and Newfield will be easy, but definitely not quite at the caliber of some of the opponents earlier in the schedule, and certainly after tonight for the Thunderbirds, perhaps a new outlook on the season with how well and complete their performance has been tonight. First and 10 at the 27. Runner had his knee down immediately, or pretty close to it. Alan Boaz, the backup quarterback, has come in to replace Ross Tallarico. So Boaz, a senior, backing up the senior Tallarico, who has been the starter for 3 years. Expect both teams to keep it on the ground here in the fourth quarter. North Babylon, as we know, and as we've documented, a run first, second, and third type team. Bad exchange between the center and quarterback, but it appears the Bulldogs could not recover. The signal by the linesman is Connetquot football. And so the Thunderbirds force their 3rd turnover of the game. And as we said back in the first half, when they are even or at a positive turnover margin, they were 2-0. A negative turnover margin, and they were 0-3. And tonight will be another one of those games where they took it away more than they gave it up. In fact, they've played a clean game so far. And they're about to improve to 3-0 at home as well. So 1st and 10. Matt Morrow will hand it off to Isaiah Roscoe with a flag down, reverses field, trying to get away from the penetration of Butler. First real chilly night that we've documented high school football action. It certainly, as of late, felt more like fall, but it seems like the first time that it's been cold or brisk conditions to play in. This penalty is going to push Connetquot back all the way to the 45-yard line. You know, a coach always wonders, heading into the energy-filled night of homecoming, will that extra energy and attention to the game provide a lift, or will it be a distraction? And Mike Hansen got the answer to that question or concern very early in this game, and the extra fans in the seats really bolstered the Thunderbirds early. And they rode that emotion the entire first half. And this can be a game for the T-Birds as they look back on the 2019 season, perhaps in November or December or later in the school year, as a potential turning point for their season.
The number is 260.
After a sub 500 start.
Again, 260-8176.
Mara with flags down, scrambling away from pressure. Connetquot has already been penalized once on this drive in the flag's location, and now the umpire running the ball back would, of course, indicate that this is another penalty marker against Connetquot.
Once again, the winner of 50-50 raffle.
3 near flawless quarters, and now Matt Mara is in at quarterback, trying to orchestrate another touchdown drive. Gaining good experience before he perhaps competes for the top spot next year as a senior. No flag down on this run. Positive improvement. Bobby Napolitano gets the call on the jet sweep.
All right, again, get out those tickets. We have a new ticket here for our 50-50 winner. Pink ticket.
Approaching 8:20 to go in this fourth quarter.
699.
As the result has been in hand for quite some time now. Roscoe tries to slip through a tackle and cannot on third down. And so now a fourth down facing Connetquot, and they have to call upon Cole Benici to punt it away. There was a moment there early in the second quarter when North Babylon scored. They cut the deficit to 20 at 27-7 with 10:16 to go in the first half. It was on a Tolliver run of 65 yards, and then the next couple of drives, or at least to start that next drive, they ran the ball very effectively. Good punt by Benici. And then on the next drive, North Babylon forced a punt. They got the ball back at the 9-yard line. They moved it towards midfield. And then a pick six by James Mastro made it 34-7. And that really squashed any type of momentum and comeback enthusiasm that North Babylon had begun to really put together. And that play late in the second quarter effectively ended this homecoming Friday night in Connetquot's favor. As we journey on with 7 minutes to go in the fourth. Another whistle as both teams have their second units in. Second down 10. As the clock rolls inside of 7 minutes to play. Another fumble. Mike Yearwood was in at quarterback, but this time North Babylon does recover. So the third different signal caller for North Babylon this evening, as we're past the midway point of the quarter. Connetquot last year played in Division I, a long time in the highest classification. They dropped down to Division II after a 6-3 season a year ago, in which they lost in the quarterfinals as a 3 seed. Physical run here by Tyrese Hill. 5'10", 170-pound ball carrier. And there was a thought with Connetquot preseason number 3 behind Lindy, the defending champ, who beat West Islip in last year's final, the number 2 seed, that Connetquot dropping down a division would be a major player in the playoff hunt, or in the championship hunt, I should say. A win week 1 against Northport, a 1-point loss on the road against Lindenhurst, and then a win over Smithtown West to open the season at 2-1. Probably were right in line with what those preseason expectations were. As a big run here for North Babylon, Amir Slaughter saunters his way across midfield. A terrific, elusive run there, and a first down picked up. Slaughter just slipping by would-be tacklers to the 46-yard line of Connetquot. Then the losses the last couple weeks, blown out on the road at West Islip, losing by 6 points on the road at Bellport, turning it over 4 times, -3 margin. Perhaps gave this Thunderbirds team a bit of a jolt and a reality check, and you could not be more pleased with how they played this evening. Run to the outside for Hill. Daylight ahead. Tyrese Hill into the end zone, and a touchdown for North Babylon. 46 yards to the end zone, and the Bulldogs get on the board here in the fourth quarter. Defender got maybe a fingertip on him, and then he outraced the defense. Tyrese Hill, a touchdown for the Bulldogs. Their first points since early in the second quarter. And a nice moment there for the senior Hill. And North Babylon will keep the offense on the field and go for 2. With Mike Yearwood under center. Slaughter cuts up and scores. So he is in for 2. It's a 48-15 game. With 3:42 to go in the fourth. So we've talked quite a bit about how the regular season is past the midway point, winding down here with a couple more weeks, and The Suffolk Division II playoffs start November 8th. That's a Friday. November 9th is Saturday with quarters. Top 8 teams make it in based off of not records but power points. And then after that quarterfinal round, the teams are reseeded for the semifinals on the weekend of November 15th and 16th. Teams that have the higher seed can choose to play either that Friday night or Saturday. And then the finals on a Thursday night at Stony Brook is locked in. So they will play on November 22nd for certain. As interesting this year, the 4 different classes will play on 4 different nights. November 22nd being a Friday, I beg your pardon. So each 4 of the championship games will be played Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, set dates and times at Stony Brook the weekend before Thanksgiving, before the Long Island Championships take place right after Thanksgiving at both Hofstra and Stony Brook. So the Thunderbirds get it back with 3:33 to go in the 4th. Opportunity to drain the final couple minutes off the clock in what has been a game that the Thunderbirds will roll this week and look at all the great things they did throughout these 48 minutes. Feels so long ago that Drew Gautieri scored 6 touchdowns. Connetquot might have only had 10 on the field. Somebody didn't want to get some extra playing time, and so the Thunderbirds need to call timeout. Connetquot was averaging only 22 points per game. They've got 48. Entering tonight in 7th place. A look at the top 10. Connetquot, when it was all said and done, they were probably in a pretty good spot when you consider the season as a whole and who they have coming up. Center Reach next week in the 8th spot. But needing a win to just turn things around after a couple of losses. Make sure that they had their spot firmly stamped in the playoffs. And perhaps with this win, maybe they could work themselves into a top 4 seed and earn a home game in the quarterfinals. Winning matters, but also beating opponents with winning records. And North Babylon, with their 4-1 record, will help out the PowerPoint situation. To be updated after this weekend of Week 6 play. And you could always check out the Suffolk County website for up-to-date standings week to week. Inside of 3 minutes to play in this 4th quarter. A lot to be proud of on the Connetquot sideline. Terrific TFL, shooting the gap into the backfield. Jake Baptiste making a nice play.
Montalvo with the carry.
Taking down Giovanni Montalvo right at, or in the backfield, I should say. Third and 10. Matt Mara, the junior quarterback, in relief of Gautieri, who had 6 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns last week and 400 yards, and tacked on 6 more scores. Montalvo out of the backfield and dropped short of the line of scrimmage.
Number 32, Giovanni Montalvo with the run.
A 4th down upcoming, and with this snap, in their own territory call Benucci. On there to punt. Good pressure on Benici, and it was caught on the Connetquot sideline there by John Melville. It's a short punt, and North Babylon can take over with 1:16 to go in opponent territory. But this one has long been over in Connetquot's favor. Potential turning point for the Thunderbirds. Maybe one for North Babylon too. Perhaps needed a tough night on the gridiron to refocus their efforts as they hit the final stretch of the season. Coming out of the pile there is Hill, angling his way to the end zone. And he is tackled across the goal line. A 35-yard score for Tyrese Hill. Had a 46-yard touchdown on the last drive and adds a 35-yarder here. Back-to-back touchdowns for North Babylon as Hill bounces it to the outside after securing the football. He was run down at the 2 by Isaiah Roscoe, but enough forward momentum across the goal line to make it count. And another two-point try coming up here for North Babylon. The ball is dropped by Slaughter, and he is taken down as Amir tried to pick it up and run it in for another two-point try like he did the last time. 48-21, somebody will take a look at that score. And perhaps it won't really exemplify how lopsided this game was. North Babylon, many of them in pink socks tonight, making that as part of their uniform. Pink, of course, signifying a color for breast cancer awareness. A cause that has been part of, I think, the football ether for a number of years. And the Bulldogs sporting that tonight to complement their white and blue jerseys. And now kicking off. Will they try an onside variety? Well, they send this one deep. Angling towards the sidelines and out of bounds. Procedural flag. 1:06 to go. Connetquot in a position to just knee it out if they so choose. Be sure to stick around after the final whistle. Amber Kuntz will be on the sideline, gathering our player of the game. And we'll have a wrap-up of this victory for the Thunderbirds upon the conclusion of the game. North Babylon does have timeouts, but we would not expect them to use them here as Matt Mara takes a knee. And just one more snap to go. Expect Friday night homecoming to become a staple of Connetquot, especially if the Thunderbirds are going to play like this. Now, they do play Friday night games all the time, but typically homecoming was a Saturday affair. Not so much this year, as the fans stay in place to take in a post-game fireworks show. After fireworks to the tune of 48 points for the Thunderbirds during this regular season contest. Impressive, perhaps even a bit shocking, but it all adds up to a 48-21 victory for the Thunderbirds on homecoming, taking down North Babylon. Connetquot improves to 3-3. North Babylon falling to 4-2. Their winning streak is over. Once again, the final score, 48-21. We wrap up this victory for Connetquot after this. This has been our Game of the Week, brought to you by HSS, the #1 hospital for orthopedics, with locations in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. The best is now nearby. Waving a victorious flag here at Connetquot, the Thunderbirds 48-21 over the Bulldogs of North Babylon on the HSS Game of the Week. A dominant performance led by an impressive quarterback, and he's standing by with Amber on the field.
I am here with the Thunderbirds quarterback, Drew Gutierrez. You're wearing a very special number 14 jersey. Can you talk about the importance of this jersey and winning on homecoming?
Yeah, this number represents Stan. Stan Harley, he died a couple years ago. He was very close to me and my family, and he represents something bigger in the community. And every year, they pick one person on homecoming to wear it. And I was lucky enough to wear it this year, and we pulled out for him, and he was really he was on top of my shoulder tonight.
You helped orchestrate 6 touchdowns, 2 coming by your feet. Dominant performance by your offense and your defense. Give an overall explanation for today's game.
I mean, we played as a team for once. First time all season we played as a team. And I started up front. The line did great, and I couldn't do it without them.
My last question is for you. You guys are moving to 3-3.
Yeah.
You just beat a 4-1 team.
Yeah.
How important was this game for your playoff opportunities?
It was huge. It was do or die tonight. You know, our season was on the line, and we made a statement tonight. We're still here.
Thank you, Drew.
No problem. Thank you.
From Bohemian, New York, Amber Kuntz, News 12 Varsity.
Fireworks after the game for all of those in attendance, and they look especially nice after a victory. 48-21 the final. Connetquot takes down North Babylon in our HSS Game of the Week. For Amber Kuntz and our entire News 12 Varsity crew, I'm David Resnick. Thanks so much for joining us on News 12 Varsity.